Hi, how you doing? We've done a bit of a change of scenery. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do, but we'll figure that out as we do this. So last time I said I wanted to talk about Chainsaw Man, and I wasn't sure, but I figured with the new movie coming out later on this year, I thought it'd be cool to kind of talk about it. And next arc of Chainsaw Man, the movie that is based off, is actually my favorite arc. Maybe second favorite. It's up there. So I thought we could talk about Chainsaw Man a little bit. So yeah, we'll do that. And I'll probably try to keep the video not so long. Last time it was pretty long. Or it wasn't pretty long, but it was longer than I wanted it to be. So we can try to calm it down, but I don't know if that's gonna work. I like to talk. So anyways, yeah, let's start talking about Chainsaw Man. Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing a Chainsaw Man shirt. I got it from Uniqlo like forever ago. Not forever ago, but I got it from Uniqlo, and I really enjoy this shirt. It's a really nice shirt. It's pretty good quality. Anyways, on to what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so I don't know if I'm gonna keep this in, probably. So first off, if you see me looking down, that's where I keep all my notes. I'm either looking at my notes, or I am looking at my kittens, or I may have Game Grumps on in the background, and I might just get distracted by looking at the TV. But I'm gonna do my best to stay focused. So we're gonna be talking about Chainsaw Man. So Chainsaw Man is a 2018 series written and illustrated by Tatsuki Fujimoto, following the story of Denji, an orphan that was left with his father's debt to the Yakuza. He's taken to paying his debt by taking care of devils with the dog-like devil he's befriended, Pochita. After a dangerous mission resulting in Pochita becoming Denji's heart, it gives him the ability to transform into Chainsaw Man, a powerful half-human, half-demon monster. He's taken in by the mysterious Makima, who promises to take him in as her pet in return for providing his services for the National Devil Extermination Public Safety Commission. All the while, Denji tries to keep the promise he's made with Pochita to live life the way he wants to with his new lease on life. So, Chainsaw Man. It took me a minute to really get into Chainsaw Man. I really liked it. I really like it now, but I had seen kind of all over the internet on Twitter, or the artist formerly known as Twitter, with a lot of fan art and things like that. So it was kind of in the same vein as Jujutsu Kaisen, kind of that new age shonen. So I was just like, oh, well, what is this? So I started reading it, and I got through to the Katana Devil arc, and I wasn't a huge fan of, it wasn't that it was bad or anything like that. It felt very generic, so I didn't really get into it. And for some reason, I think I was talking to a friend, and they had said something like, oh, well, I started reading it, and I want to read it with you so we can talk about it. And I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and try to finish it through. And everything after the Katana Devil arc was just amazing to me. I really, really liked it. I liked the characters that were introduced. Reze is one of my favorite characters, and I really liked her. And so that was kind of my history of it. I kind of just went through it and was just like, and what happens with a lot of series that I will start it and then I'll just binge through everything. And so there'll be instances where I just don't remember things or don't remember characters. And there were a few that were like that. I remember really liking, different plot points and all that stuff, but I just couldn't remember different characters. But yeah, actually, as things went on and as things progressed, I really started liking the plot. I'm sorry. As things went on, I really started liking the plot. I really started feeling for these characters, and Again, it goes down both to my thought process of like new mangakas and more recent shonen where, you know, things kind of just, they happen, and there's no saving with the power of friendship or anything like that. You know, it's very much like, this stuff is going on. You know, I really, like I said, it took me a minute to get into Chainsaw Man, but once I've gotten into it, I really did like it. I think now we can start talking about some of the characters. First, we have Denji, who is a very stereotypical kind of shonen protagonist. I don't want to say he starts off as a stereotypical shonen protagonist, but he's also a character that you can actually see the growth. He starts off kind of just, you know, wanting to be a guy that wants to, you know, first to go out on a date with a girl and have a girlfriend and go further with a girl. But he changes from having very singular wants to becoming more complex in reaction to the characters around him and in reaction to what happens to him in the series, which I think is really cool. At the series, he learns a lot from the people around him, especially Makima. I remember talking to somebody and I wrote a little bit of a nuanced thing. It was on the internet, so, you know, but I wrote kind of a nuanced thing about how much he learns from Makima and those around him, and they immediately was like, do you ship Makima with Denji? And I'm like, no, he does learn stuff from Makima. Yeah, Denji learns a lot from people around him, and he is somebody who's very loyal, I think, particularly to Pochita, because of the way that he interacts with Pochita throughout the whole rest of the series. Throughout the series, he has dreams, and I'm going strictly mainly on the manga. I haven't really watched the anime, not because I don't think it's as gorgeous, because it's from the same animated studio who does Jujutsu Kaisen. Mappa is insanely amazing at the stuff that they work on. But I haven't gotten around to watching the anime, which it really, from the parts that I've seen, it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the scene where Aki is just doing his morning routine, and it's just animated so gorgeously and so beautifully that I watched it on repeat a couple of times when I found it on YouTube. Going back to what I was talking about with Denji, he learns a lot, and you have to remember how young he is. He's interacting with a world where he is basically surrounded by adults, and there are very interesting dynamics throughout that because he is the youngest person in the series for a while. So I think it's very interesting to see him mature and learn from those around him. Next up is Aki. And I think everybody kind of likes Aki. I have a thing for those stoic, organized characters. How he's kind of thrust into being Denji's caretaker. Thrust into being his supervisor / caretaker. And then he slowly kind of throughout the series, he turns into like an older brother kind of character. And he slowly starts to care for these people. And, you know, in the line of work that they're in, you don't really grow old. There aren't really a whole lot of old devil hunters. You know what I mean? You know, there are exceptions like Kishibe, but, you know, it's not really a profession where you last very long. And so, you know, you can tell how Aki is very guarded, and he's guarded for multiple reasons, because he's gone through a lot of loss from an early age. And to see throughout the series him kind of making room for characters in his life, including Denji and my next favorite character, which we'll get into. I think that's a really cool thing to watch that happen for Aki. Next, I want to talk about Power. Is just chaotic, and I didn't think that I was going to like her. so much. She's just insane. She's fun. She's a character that is just gross and loud and selfish, and the perfect kind of little sister to round out the trio. She's so funny to me. I love, there's a scene where she crashes a car and then blames somebody else, even though the person that she blames is in the seat right next to her. And she crashes the car and she's just like, it wasn't me. I don't know. I don't know why you crashed this car. And just almost every scene that she's in is just so funny. But then there are scenes where she has to learn how to be brave. She has this bravado up that she's this amazing person, this is amazing devil, and she can do anything and da-da-da-da. But there are scenes where she gets scared, and there are scenes where she gets worried, and I like those scenes just like I like any other scene with power in it. She is a character that learns and grows, and I think I like, that you have the trio that I learn to be a unit together, and I think that's a really cool dynamic. I also really like how she has a cat, and she loves that cat more than anything in the world, and I can relate to that. And then, there's the honorable mention of Kishibe. Kishibe is also an interesting character because, like I said before, they're in a profession that people don't get old in. And Kishibe is the oldest character in the series, or the oldest character introduced so far. And so the fact that he has gotten, up in age and is still walking around and can still, exist as a normal person, normal is as normal as you can be in that profession. It's very interesting, and it makes him a very cool character to kind of watch. Finally, I think that we should at least touch on Makima. Makima is an enigma the whole way through. There are instances where, she just keeps, not even instances, the whole time she keeps a very calm demeanor. There's only one scene that I can think of that her demeanor changes really at all. But she's very calculating, very calm, and she's very manipulative. And you can tell that she's manipulative by how she gets Denji to be on their side, how she can use Denji. And she stays very much in a vague kind of state for a very long time, and you really just don't know what to expect with Makima. You don't know if she's like, at least for me, because I'm kind of slow, for a while you're just like, what is this role that this character has? I think she was very well written. I think that she was an awesome character to kind of watch and evolve and all of those things. I think that, it's really fun to just kind of look to see what's going on with Makima, because I think Makima was one of my favorite characters in a very long time. Like I said, New Age Shonen kind of gives me characters that it's very hard for me to find a character I don't like. I even like, if I'm remembering correctly, his name is Beam, the shark guy. I really like him. So now I guess we can kind of go over, setting and plot. Setting and plot is that, we live in a world where devils are a normal thing that exists in society, in the world. It is set in 1997, which is almost 30 years ago. And, a big thing is that the Soviet Union still exists. So it is still a major powerhouse in the world. I think it's very interesting how Fujimoto decided to make that the thing in the world. And so there are things that we are unfamiliar with now. And I think that's very interesting, and how that's kind of changed and shaped a few of the things that are going on. Another thought that I had, I think that Fujimoto is a very good writer, and I think personally, in my opinion, I think that he wrote the series pretty generic at the beginning. I mean, it was still a very unique premise, but there's so many ideas of where a character turns into something that is not a normal character, a normal point. Like, there's one series I still need to read/watch, and it's got an anime greenlit, is Kaiju number 8. And that's another one of what's just a normal guy who gets turned into a non-human thing, and he's the main character. But that's not something that's super unique, but it's how he goes about writing the story, how he goes about creating this world, this whole insane premise, and how he follows through with it, that I think is very unique and very interesting. And there's a reason why it became so popular so quickly. He really did have a good thing of how to make this series very interesting. And I will say, I have no thoughts on part 2 yet, no concrete thoughts on part 2 yet, other than, there's a character that got introduced, and there's a few characters that got introduced, and I really like them, and I think they're really cool characters. It's just now, at time of recording, which is, beginning of 2024, they're just now starting to get it going in full swing. I think something big is going to happen sooner rather than later, and it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. I'm sure it'll be great. I really did like the experience of reading Chainsaw Man. I liked the twists, and I liked the character introductions, and I liked how things really go, how things really went. I might go see the movie in theaters. I don't know, and I'm probably going to go watch it because I like Reze, and I like the Bomb Devil arc. So it's not a very long arc, but it's a very important for Denji arc. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see how it goes. So here are my my final thoughts on the series as a whole. I think that it's a good series. I think that if you can handle, again, it's shonen, and like I talked about in my last video with Jujutsu Kaisen, that means it can be violent. This is even more violent than Jujutsu Kaisen. There is a literal blood devil. It uses her ability by using blood. It is very violent. There are tearing, ripping, shredding, biting. You will see a lot of blood. The whole point of Denji being able to heal is that he has to take blood. So it's very violent. It's very action-packed. It's all of the things. So if that's something that you're not really, comfortable with, that's fine. Don't watch it. Wikipedia is a thing. You won't get the full experience if you look it up on Wikipedia, and I think it is something that, it's got a really good story. It's got a really good plot. It's got really good characters. But again, if that's not your thing, don't force yourself. It's a really good series. I really like it. It's one of those series that I will go and wait, every week to see what happens. It's up there along with Jujutsu Kaisen. Sometimes My Hero Academia. I've kind of dropped off on My Hero Academia. I don't know if I want to talk about My Hero Academia. That's a lot. I do think that Chainsaw Man is something to ingest. I really do like the found family aspect of Chainsaw Man. That ends up becoming a pretty big deal. The found family of, Denji, Aki, and Power, I think is a really good dynamic that I've really fallen in love with. I think another thing to take into consideration is that part 1 is done. So there is a full story out So if you don't want to wait for the anime, the first part, I don't know if it's half, but the first part of Chainsaw Man is done. You can follow along with that character before, you know, you get into part 2, because it'll be a while for part 2 to get animated. Part 1 was definitely my favorite out of the 2 so far. That's not really, I can't compare the first and the second part because, you know, one is done and one is not. Yeah, if that's something that you can handle, if that's something that you want to really get into, Chainsaw Man is something that I would totally recommend. Honto daisuki. Next video, or the next subject I want to talk about is actually a game. Persona 3 Reload is coming out soon, and I love Persona 3. I will talk about Persona 3 I could talk about Persona 3 for hours. I won't, but I could. And I want to have that out for February, and I'm thinking February might be Atlas month. So I'll probably do one for all of the Persona games that I've played, which are 3, 4, and 5. I haven't played 1 and 2, not because I don't want to, but because I don't have systems to play those. I think I might also talk about Catherine, because, you know, February has Valentine's Day in it, and we can talk about Catherine. I said it like that, not because I dislike Catherine, but because I have thoughts on Catherine. I think Catherine is an awesome game. I'm terrible at puzzles though. So, and I think the plot's very interesting, but again, you have to go through puzzles to get through that plot, and I'm not super great at puzzles, but that's fine. I could talk about Catherine for a while too, so we can make that an Atlas thing. So I had a good time talking about Chainsaw Man this time. We'll see how it goes, but I'm having a good time watching or playing these, or I'm having a good time recording these videos. So and it's good use of my time, I think. So I'll just do that for a little bit. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you would like to subscribe, go ahead. And I will see you next time. Bye.